Hey everyone. A lot of you on Discord have been asking me why I use Linux instead of Windows. So, let me break it down for you. Why not Windows? First off, Windows can feel like a bloated mess. There's so much bundled software and background processes that you might not even use. And let's talk about viruses. Windows is a big target for malware, meaning antivirus software is a must. It also feels a bit outdated, doesn't it? The setup hassle. Let's say you're setting up Windows for the first time. You're pretty much forced to log in with a Microsoft account. Sure, there are ways to bypass it or even skip the entire setup process, but do you really want to go through all that? Even if you do bypass it, Microsoft will constantly remind you to log in, showing account problem notifications as if not using a Microsoft account is a problem itself. Now, let's talk about updates. On Windows, updating programs usually means visiting each app's website to download the latest version. On Linux, it's much simpler. You just open the terminal, type one command, and your package manager updates everything in one go. It's quick, efficient, and hassle-free. Privacy concerns. But you might think these aren't huge reasons to switch to Linux over Windows. Well, what about privacy? Windows has a reputation for collecting your data and spying on you. Even if you disable all the tracking settings, it's still gathering data in the background. To try and stop it, you might end up deleting system files, risking a broken Windows installation. The tracking features are baked into Windows, making it nearly impossible to get rid of them completely. Hardware requirements. If that's not enough reason to consider Linux, how about the constant hardware upgrades? An i7 4th General CPU is still an amazing processor, yet you'll need at least an i7 8th General to run Windows 11. You might find ways to bypass those requirements now, but who knows how long that will last. Customization. Let's talk about customization. On Windows, you used to be able to change colors and themes, but in Windows 11, you are limited to just white or black. On Linux, you can customize everything from the bootloader theme to the colors of the clock and date display. Your system can truly reflect your style. Seamless transitions. Now, let's see you finally decided to replace your fully functioning i7 4th General PC with an i7 8th General for Windows 11. Great! But now you have to reinstall Windows. On Linux, if you're switching from one Intel CPU to another, you don't have to do anything special. If you are moving between Intel and AMD, all you need to do is replace the microcode package, and you code for AMD and Intel you code for Intel. It's that simple. GPU upgrades. Now, you might say, replacing my GPU doesn't require reinstalling Windows. Well, it kind of does, because you have to use display driver and installer (DDU) to get rid of the old drivers. But what if I told you that on Linux, you only need to install the NVIDIA drivers? Intel and AMD drivers are already included in the kernel. If you're switching from AMD to Intel or vice versa, you don't need to do anything special. If you are moving from AMD or Intel to NVIDIA, you simply install the NVIDIA drivers, and if you're switching from NVIDIA to Intel or AMD, you just remove the NVIDIA drivers. There's no need for DDU, you can manage everything through the package manager like everyone else does. What about gaming? Now, you might wonder, but what about my games? Will they work on Linux? If the games are on Steam and don't have anti-cheat, they will just work. for games on Epic Games or GOG without anti-cheat, you can use a rogue to run them. If you want to play games with anti-cheat, there's easy anti-cheat support on Linux, but other anti-cheats might not work well anyway. So, all you need to do is install Steam, enable Steam Play and Proton, install Proton Experiment and Proton G. Just play. It will work out of the box as long as there's no anti-cheat, and if it doesn't work immediately, check Proton for tips and compatibility reports. Content creation. But I make videos/streaming. Linux supports content creation as long as your hardware is compatible, like your capture card. OBS works perfectly for streaming. For video editing, try DaVinci or DaVinci Resolve. Keep in mind that DaVinci Resolve has some limitations with codes unless you are using NVIDIA. Windows-only programs. What about Windows-only apps? For Photoshop alternatives, you can use Photopea, GIMP, Krita, or Inkscape. If you are looking for Office alternatives, LibreOffice and OnlyOffice have you covered. If the app is a 32-bit Windows 7 program, there's a good chance you can run it online. That's how I got bellow to work for text-to-speech. Final thoughts. Yes, this video is being made on Linux using OBS, DaVinci Resolve, GIMP, and bellow. Linux offers flexibility, efficiency, and a tailored experience that just feels right for me. At the end, I just wanted to say, just give Linux a try, not weak try, give it a year. This what it took me to learn Linux and feel in love with it.